Thanks for tuning in to today's video, which we're going to talk about the top 5 orb changers in the game, key changers in the game. And now, as you know, key changing is very viable when it comes to like nuking and things like that, or when paired with units that can basically nuke in the game. So, excuse me, I choked a little bit. But anyways, when paired with units that can nuke in the game, such as Buhan, Goku Black, those guys, and which two of them are, obviously those two are top tier units, but when paired with those guys, these guys really shine. So I'm going to put an onus on a lot of these guys that you guys kind of need to be aware of as really good units for that, and units that also, you know, key change and try to explain the differences between the different types of key changing. So as always, hope you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new, of course. If you don't have notifications on, turn on notifications for the channel so you can stay up to date with my recent uploads, because my schedule's a little bit out of whack right now. So hashtag notification squad in the comment section if you do have notifications on. But without further ado, let's get started. And I'm going to start off with the honorable mentions. Honorable mentions basically go to the Vegeta and the Goku. They will not be on my list, more or less because, as you'll hear me talk about in a moment here, they are, in my opinion, the worst type of orb changer, going from rainbow to a solid color. And otherwise, they're very good units. Like, honestly, I tried to make this list in relation to the respective teams that these individual units that are on my list would fit into. And the Vegeta was initially my number 5. I actually would demote him to about a 6, just relative to what he has on his team, and Goku being like 6B, basically, because they have LR Goku, and they have Goku Black on the other one, and probably like another LR that's coming to physical eventually. Like, I think it's Shugesh or whatever it is, but the physical will get one too, so, you know, relative to what they have, or this Ginyu, whatever it is, man. So those guys are there. These other guys, like this Goku, he's not on my list. Android 18, she's not on my list. She's really good when paired with the androids, the LR androids. Really good when paired with them, in fact. But she's not on my list either, just because it's not really practical to run her on a Mono AGL team with them, unless you're going out of your way to do that. But I don't feel like the androids are good enough to warrant that. They're not as good as a lot of other AGL units you could fit in their place, especially in this Android 18's place. Same goes for the Android 17. He works really well when run with Goku Black on a physical team. So that's pretty much it. I don't have this Goten or his rebirth form on the list either. So let's get into my number 5 pick now, and I'm going to talk about this, and hopefully this explains a little bit more too. We're starting off with Super Saiyan Gotenks, the tech one. Of course, there's an intelligence one, but there's an innate difference between the two. This one changes orbs and gives himself a minute 20% increase in his attack, but he changes orbs from AGL to rainbow, meaning that all the AGLs on the map get turned into rainbows. Now, the other version just gives you a flat-out key boost. Now, when it comes to nuking and stuff like that with a new meta for the tournament or whatever you're trying to do, this guy's a very solid unit. If it just comes to you needing somebody to support your team, then you'd probably want to run the intelligence one if you have units that he can help out, you know, tech and intelligence units. But when it comes to you building a cohesive unit team, you want a unit that can change from a color to rainbow, because, and as I'm going to talk about a lot throughout this, hopefully you guys can understand and drive home with that. When you do that, what it is depending on orb placement, you're allowing yourself to set up orb combos, because these new type nuke guards, they don't care about specific colors. Trunks, you know, the new Trunks, he wants intelligence orbs, that's fine, but he self-supplies them. So, for example, maybe you have Trunks and Goten on a hero team and they spawn together. So there's AGLs on the map that are breaking your ability to get to the intelligence orbs that Trunks created, so he can't actually get to them. But the second this guy's passive goes off, he makes that possible. He allows Trunks to be able to get them by turning them into rainbows. Now, the rainbow orbs are not going to do anything for Trunks, because he only cares about the intelligence when it comes to getting that boost. But it's more or less creating paths and combos, which is kind of the inverse when you have rainbows and units turn them from being rainbows to being a solid color. That's the problem with those units. They turn them into being a solid color, so if you don't run multiple orb changers or things like that, a lot of times that can be a detriment. It can be a roadblock. So that's why those units are not on the team. The Goku, the Vegeta, you know, they don't really make a place here. So as far as Gotenks goes, he fits that mold perfectly. He runs on tech. He is honestly one of the top 10 best tech units that you'd probably want to run. You know, especially if you have LR Goku. If you don't have LR Goku, it really doesn't matter too much. He can kind of come in whenever you want. Guy has solid links, prepare for battle. He doesn't hit very hard. He has an extreme modifier. They purposely nuked him like that to make him not as good, but, you know, he still gets the job done for what his relative purpose is on a monotech team, or even on mono heroes if you wanted to run him on mono heroes for whatever reason. So, moving into my number 4 pick, we now have Android 13. Man, I love this guy. I love this guy so much. Like, people don't understand. Like, people come to me like, hey, what's the best mono intelligence team, or what's the best team I can run, or whatever the case is. And I'm like, I look at their box and I'm like, bro, you're sitting on this Android 13. Your best units are intelligence, or your best units or whatever, and Android 13 will fit perfectly on your team, but you're sitting on him. He's not even trained, so I know you haven't touched him. You just got him and just let him sit in your box. He does not hit hard. You know, he's not a hard hitter. Extreme modifier. He doesn't get any sort of boost on his attack stat. You can farm his super attack if you want to. That is a tedious grind, which it's honestly not worth because he doesn't have that much potential for power. Maybe he'll get a rebirth or something that'll make him a little bit harder of a hitter. But what this guy does for Buhan, honestly makes him an optimal tech unit, which is why on every single mono intelligence team, I don't care what unit that comes out, I have found a way to put him on the team. At this point, I'm running Buhan, Janemba, 13, incredible trio right there. Incredible trio with Turles, Trunks, and Vegeta. That's my team. There is no standalone key link across the board, but somehow, due to the key support from Turles, due to the the leader skill from Buhan, the orb changing here, and the relative links they have, and Trunks being self-sufficient, which I'm gonna talk about a little bit later, you know, those guys get it done. And so much is put on Android 13 because he allows units like Buhan to come in and just change the field for him and allow him to get these crazy combos to where he can get you a super attack, and then he starts debuffing the opponent, their attack and defense, and that helps everybody else out. He is honestly one of Buhan's best friends, so I don't really have anything more to say. I've said it, you know, so many times. Android 13 is an amazing unit, and he has great links: Metamorphosis, Nightmare, Fear and Faith. Really, really good set of links. You know, the first couple you don't really use. Tough as Nails is passable too, but you know, those 3 links there, really solid unit. And he has a nice, crazy defensive stat, 5,900. That's a really high defensive stat. But anyways, number 3, Kaioken Goku. If you notice the trend here, these 3 units all do what the other one does. You know, they all make things rainbow because that is the most valuable form of orb changing. I don't want to, you know, beat you with a dead, you know, beat the horse with dead, whatever the saying is. You know, I don't want to kind of make it more apparent, but I've got to drive that home. So aside from that, he is another unit that will not hit very hard. He has a Kaioken mechanic, which is obviously very bad. But this guy, I rated him here because of those crazy links, man. Shocking speed and over in a flash and Kamehameha and the Saiyan lineage. This guy links with Broly for the Saiyan lineage, which is 1 key. He links with Gohan for Kamehameha, shocking speed, and I believe the Saiyan lineage are all in the family, one of those 2. He links with Vegito Blue for Kamehameha and over in a flash. He links with full power Frieza for over in a flash. He links with Orale for shocking speed. He links with all of these units. He's got an amazing set of link skills just looking at monophysical alone. And the main reason why he's on the list is because what he can do for a unit that he really doesn't link with otherwise. Goku Black. He has the Kamehameha link with him, but that's about it, which obviously allows him to get a bit stronger. But this man can come in and change orbs the exact same way that 13 can and set up these combos for Goku Black, who's one of the hardest hitters in the game when you get him going with a bunch of orbs. And then Goku Black can come in and start debuffing attack and defense too, to where you have a physical team that does not tank very well, even when they have a quote-unquote tank with Vegito Blue. You know, it allows them to take a little bit less damage because Goku Black's lowering their attack, and he's hitting hard consistently when linked with this guy. So honestly, I don't really have much else to say about this unit either. He's just flat out amazing. I rated him here. I really wanted to put Android 13 as my top. I really wanted to put him as my top, but I couldn't justify it. Okay, so now we're getting into the top 2, and honestly, this is where it got a little sticky because there's different reasons for the top 2. So let's go to the number 2 here. Number 2 is Hex Super Saiyan Bardock. Now, this guy is mainly here I really, obviously, you guys know my favorite type of orb changing already at this point. I'm kind of neutral on the ones that change from color to another color. Fine. I mean, you can run a couple of those and you're good to go. But this guy, what makes him so good is the links with LR Goku, who is one of the hardest hitters in the game, like top 5 still at this point, pretty sure at that. And he links with him, he sets up these orbs for him, he's his best friend. And that's really all it comes down to. He is that guy's best friend. They have First Awaken, I believe. Prepare for Battle is not on him, actually. LR Goku does not have that. They do have Super Saiyan, Golden Warrior, a First Awaken, and Family Ties, or one of those two. Does he have... Let's find out right now. I actually need to know. It's one or both of those. Because I'm actually curious, because I don't want to give you guys... Okay, so First Awaken, I don't think he has Family Ties then. Yeah, LR Goku wouldn't have this link. This doesn't seem like something that would be on him. Oh, he does. It's 2 key link. Never mind. So there you go. 2 key, 3 key, and 35%. Yeah. And he sets up orbs for LR Goku, who you know is an LR unit that needs a lot of orbs to get to his, whatever it is, 16 key. He needs that. So let's go ahead and move on to, I don't know, it's 18 key, but let's go ahead and move on to the de facto #1. Boom. Who predicted it? Who predicted it? Let me know in the comments. Trunks. Changes orbs to intelligence. STR orbs to intelligence. One of the hardest hitters in the game. Greatly lowers defense. Immense modifier. It was kind of hard not to make him here #1 because of the way that he's self-sufficient. That's the thing about him. He's self-sufficient. He is an orb-changing nuker. He is literally the best of both worlds. Literally. He makes his own key and then uses that key to hit you at a 15% per orb clip. There's nothing more to really say about that. I mean, there's nothing... you can't do anything about that. That's why I was like, I really want to put Bardock first. I really want to put 13 higher. But Trunks is just too damn good. He does everything himself. And that is what makes him such an amazing unit. Flat out just makes him an amazing unit. So if you have any recommendations for another top 5, I'd be more than happy to look into it if it's something that I can do. Somebody recommended top 5 worst key links, and I'm like, I can't really, I mean, because that's not really fair, because I just look at all the end cards and look at whatever key links they have and say, okay, that's shit, and I'd be done. Like Red Ribbon Army, like what is that? Like nobody uses that. So anyways, if you have any recommendations, let me know in the comments. I'll be more than happy to look into it. But hope you enjoyed today's video. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you later as always. Peace.